Here, the center. Line it up with the center mark on your
Does it matter which side is in or out?
yes. Yeah, it's go outside in. Okay? Now this is where it's going to fold around. Okay. Keep losing my writing utensils here. Somewhere in there we are. Now we can take the cloth, bring it around, kind of adjust it so that's nice and flat there, and it's nice and flat here. Okay? And then you make a mark right down here where so that's where, when we go to glue it, we'll know that mark.
At the base of this?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we make a mark here. Okay? So then when we go to glue it, we can take that mark and push it right in there. Then I fold it over. I don't know if everybody can see that. Make a mark on that side, okay? Can everybody see what I did there? Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to do the same thing on this side. And we'll adjust it so it's nice. Take a mark over here, fold it over. Okay.
Can you show it?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I put the microphone to your?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Okay. Now we turn it over here. Now this top mark I made right here. Okay, I want to find out what this opening is. Well, this is 3/4 of an inch thick, right? So we measure down from here. Three-quarters of an inch. And that represents the thickness of the bellows, or the board here. So on the cloth here, we measure from this point, which would be down 3/4 of an inch from the top, okay? To this mark, 3/4 of an inch down from there. Okay, and then down here, the opening of the bellows, 4 3/4 inches. Go there to that mark. Same thing over here. And then this other mark that I made down to there. Okay, so that triangle represents the opening here, okay? Everybody clear on that, okay? Now this is the center line where we want it to fold, okay? So we kind of extend that line down, go down to here, to our center line. That's where we're going to want it to fold. Okay, so now we got this area here that represents the opening. And so the folders, I pre-cut these. There's no critical measurement on it other than the opening the widths here. Now that's, to my way of thinking, a little bit too wide. I'm going to make sure that something didn't slip here. Yeah, it didn't do bad.
I assume so. We're in America.
This was kept it's in
John, I'm curious, do you do anything special to keep the cardboard from getting soggy?
No. You know, it sets up fairly quickly.
Fortunately, our dollars are already decimal. Part of Canada. It works though. So why don't you cut the cardboard first before you do it?
Yes.
Oh, why don't you?
Oh, no, I don't. I like to get it all in place, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to let them sit for just a few minutes here.
That way you can cut it with your line that you've drawn.
Right. So then I can take
Now, often that front cardboard seems to go all the way and be cut at an angle, or is that not necessary?
What, oh, you mean this way?
No, the center one.
Doesn't make any difference. It just needs to have something to tell it where to fold. Now, some of them will be wider, you know, but it's not necessary, okay?
John, we've all seen restorations that were poorly done with all kinds of things put in as bellows cloth. If one can't find bellows cloth, are there substitutes for that you recommend, and some that you definitely would not recommend because porosity is important?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have enough of the original bellows cloth material that I haven't had to worry about that yet. But in Hanover, we still have a good supply of the 20,000s bellows cloth. But last month I had them order some 30,000s bellows cloth, which is available here in the United States. And the next organ we do there, I'm going to use that instead of the 20,000s.
That's slightly thicker.
It's slightly thicker. And I think it'll work just fine. I don't know how that will affect the pumping of the organ, but we're going to find out. And I talked to a fellow here, and I don't remember who it was. He makes his own.
What?
He takes cotton cloth. It has to be 100% cotton. And he paints it with Flex Seal.
What?
Flex Seal.
Flex seal.
I see that advertised. Yeah. And it says it works just fine. You know.
Is there anything you would say do not put on?
Well, no, I'll tell you, that's true. But I have an old organ at home, a little flat top organ, that somebody refinished with naugahyde, or redid with naugahyde. That holds better than any of the organs I've got. Now, how long it's going to last, I don't know, you know, but, you know, anything's airtight, basically. But it's got to be, if you're going to use hot glue, you've got to use a natural material. Because it won't stick to nylon or rayon or anything like that. So you need something that's cotton, basically. Okay?
So is the grayish stuff rubber?
Yes, yes. Yep. That probably came from Shaft Yellow Supply, right?
That came from Oregon Supply Industries.
Okay.
It's about $110 a yard.
Yeah. Used to be $60 a yard.
Used to be. I've run out of my 60.
Yeah. Okay, now we've got we're going to line up the center line here on these folders. We're going to take a knife and very carefully just score this card. Just score it. Don't cut all the way through. Same here. Now, if you'll notice, this center line here, I'm sure at the factory, everything was perfect. Okay? And so they could make up a whole bunch of these and it'd work just fine. But after 100 years, these exhausters sometimes can twist or warp a little bit. So as you can see, this is not a straight line anymore. Okay? That's why I did what I did to determine where those go. Okay, now comes the fun part. Should have. I like to do the bottom one on first.
John, a generous amount of glue? Is that
A
okay?
generous amount, yeah. Now I have the center mark here, and the center mark here, so put that on there.
What is about the setup time for that you have?
It doesn't take too long. I usually just set for a little while. Usually it sets up fairly quickly.
Like in 2 minutes? Or?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Couple sips of coffee or something like that.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's not gonna be very, very good yet, but I mean, what I like to do right on the corners here, because that's the part where
Where do you get the tacks then?
well, these are number 3 attacks. You can buy them almost any place, in a hardware store. Now I do use a lot of number 2s and a few number 1s, which I got from the company that makes them here in the United States, and I can't think of the name. I'll look and see.
Albany Upholstery Supply.
Yes, okay.
And so they're the only place I found number 1s and 2s. And so if you have 1, 2, 3, and 6, you have all the sizes you'll ever need. And they only come in 1-pound boxes. And so 1 pound of number 1s will last you a couple of centuries.
Now right in the very corner here, I like to put a little tack. Because that's going to be the most vulnerable place for it.
There's always
to
that
lay.
spot that concerns me.
Yeah.
How you, right in the corner.
Did they originally have a tack there?
Quite often. Okay.
So where exactly are you putting that tack?
Right at the very corner, just because that's going to be the weakest point.
Okay.
And that just tucks that down tight so it won't leak. Which on the exhausters is not a real big deal, because the exhausters don't have to hold anything. You're basically, the exhauster is just sucking air out of the reservoir. It's a reservoir that you want good tight.
So you don't tack the reservoir?
Huh? Well, we haven't done the reservoir.
But when you do, will you tack it at the corners also?
It isn't really necessary.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I would, I guess.
These are number 3, you said?
These are number 3s. I quite often use number 2s here. But Okay, so we got the front part done. I like to check it out first to make sure my folders are not going to be a problem, which they appear like they're not. So now we start doing the sides. Now I do the bottom first. You have to work fairly quickly with the hide glue. The mark we made there, we tuck right in the corner, like that. And then we glue the top.
Now you're gluing both the cloth and the...
I am, because it's easy to do here.
Oh,
Then you just kind of pull it up nice and snug.
Does the cotton absorb very much glue?
Yeah, it depends on what you got glued for it to, but it does absorb. And it doesn't have to absorb a lot. I've got a little gap here, so I'll put a little extra glue there.
John, perhaps you said this and I didn't.
Oh, does it need to be acid free?
Guess I never thought about that. Now this bellow had strips of wood tacked to it. Some will and some won't.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel for this corner right here, and then I'm going to take my knife and Yeah. Then I'm gonna fold this over. I don't need that much, so.
So John, you'd already replaced the hinges. What material did you
Okay,
use for
now
that?
this organ was a fairly old organ, and when it,
1885.
yeah.
It's just like
Now
that.
this used a leather, you know, the hinge itself is in here, and then they cover this to seal that hinge. Now, most organs use bellows cloth, which I typically use, but
Right.
this particular organ used leather, so that's what Ken would put on it, so.
So the mechanical hinges, the glass hinges,
Huh?
it's a brass hinge inside.
Yes,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
When you have the two layers of leather there for the hinge, do you do the inner hinge first?
Yes.
And then the outer?
yeah, the outer hinge seals it up. So, and that's, you want to wrap this around so it's a good seal all the way around, so.
Is the inner hinge in strips or one full length?
It's one full length.
Okay.
Could you show that on the other exhaust board?
Pardon?
Could you show that on the other exhaust
Yes.
board at some stage? Thanks.
Yep.
It's a secret ingredient of recipient.
That's right. I can tell you, but then I have to kill it. That's what you pay the professionals for. I'll do that with you. Just think about it in the middle there. Actually, not. Have a shop, right? Have a wood shop. Have a dining room. I've got a dust place, but I've also got a clean up. Oh wow. Yeah, yeah. Great way to do this. For the time. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
John, you've done quite a few of these, and you're pretty quick at it.
Yeah.
But for those of us who maybe aren't as quick, is there any hints at if you aren't as quick with placing it just so to undo or to
Yeah.
readjust?
Yeah.
What is a good way to do
That's
that?
one thing about the high glue, before it really sets up really bad, you can pull it apart pretty easy, you know.
Then everything's a little bit sticky. I wonder if
Yeah.
Heat it, I think, right? John, would you heat it again?
Well, if you're gonna correct it fairly quickly, you wouldn't have to. It'll pull it apart.
Within an hour, you can
Yeah,
tear it off.
tear it right off. Yeah. You know, I like, if you want the glue to be really well cured, you're gonna probably wait overnight to get its full strength, you know. But,
Well, that makes me feel a little.
Yeah.
It's not super glue.
That's also worth mentioning, before you seal that up, you want to check to make sure there's not a screwdriver or a knife in there, and I'm not saying how I know that. people say.
what I used to do is I'd put a little can in there to adjust it. I left it in there one time, and they don't work very well with that can in there, I can tell you that.
He's a stickler about saving it.
Just a little side note, in later organs that were made with foundation boards with cracked expansion cracks in them, they used those little triangular shaped pieces he's cut off because of those cracks.
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can. The problem is you need a collection for how high you could do it, and then the rest will go to a it can be done, absolutely, but it's not. This is so much better. They're cutting corners. It's not very. It's like there's a temperature. It's full. So you can do this. But you couldn't use
If you were also talking about making it, you just have
You get a fatigue factor. I guess it's flexible enough it holds up over time.
Yeah.
In the thousands and thousands of times. That would be the way to do it.
All right, now it's all glued up, and now we want to fold it. And typically, they fold the front all the way across. Like that. So when you pump the organ, of course, this has got a spring that holds it closed. Okay? So when you pump it, of course, it opens, and the spring closes it. And that sucks the air out of the reservoir, or equalizer, or whatever you want to call it. And so that's one down, one to go. Huh?
What thickness leather?
I'm not sure. Do you know off right off? Now I'm going to show you. You know, I've done I don't know how many bellows in my life, a lot. But I learned something yesterday watching Alan take the organ apart, and which I'm going to use today for the first time. Yeah. You know, you don't want these too tight, but you also don't want them too loose. So how do you get that? So he showed me, he'll put a pencil underneath here. Okay? Then you can kind of stretch it to make it somewhat tight.
So I noticed you put the suede end down.
Yes.
I've noticed most organ manufacturers did it that way. Is
Yes.
there a reason?
Well, I think that kind of sucks into the hole and seals better, you know.
Collects less dust, hopefully.
Pardon?
Maybe it collects less dust.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Whoops.
So those number threes,
These are number
what?
number threes. I sometimes use number twos. Doesn't really make that much difference. There. That's nice and flat, but it's still flexible enough to move without farting. So there is one down and one to go. So we're doing pretty good. The other one's not going to take as long as it's already got the folders on it.